and welcome to our video that's looking at planning inside the early childhood setting. So we've created a planning tool inside of our teacher organisation kit, and this planning tool is something that teachers can use across all different educational levels. Inside the kit here, we have talked about our early childhood weekly planner, which is actually a daily planner that we print off and use each day. Now we've got two different types in here. So we've got one with the different national quality standards here listed, but if you wanted something more editable, you can actually edit this yourself and chop and change it if you like the different layout, or we've got a completely blank one here that you can use yourself. And we've spoken about that in the other videos, but this is the other planning tool that works alongside when you're looking at each of the different learning activities inside these different components. So we've got two different templates here that we've used. Now we've done a lot of research into this and we found this to be a really great tool that you can use yourself as a teacher when you're individually planning for students. You can use this when you're doing your independent learning programs for students that need more learning support. You can use this with your peers, you can use this with your mentors. It's a really great tool that has a lot of flexibility. Now the difference between the two tools is this one has 6 different stepping stones or learning strategies or sequential lessons here that help you with your planning. Now, how we implement the different strategies here is where we've assessed and observed our students to be working at a foundational level. So this is a knowledge that they already have. And we've already done a video on showing you how to implement this in the primary sector. This is one for early childhood, and we're going to show you an example in a minute. And over here we're looking at our learning goals. So this is the gap in learning. So basically this is where we want them to be once we've taught them or shown them or exposed them to different learning or developmental milestones. So here are the different steps or sequential learning lessons that we've planned that will get them to this area over here. So this is going to bridge the gap in learning. Now we've got 6 set up here because we think 6 is a really good number from the research that we've looked at, but if you want to have less or more, we've also created a more flexible option here where you can actually record your own number of learning stepping stones here that we like to call them. So again, this is going to be the foundational knowledge that the students already have. This is the learning goals, and this will be how you bridge their gap in learning in a sequential order. So if we have a little look over here, we've already sort of jumped in and started to look at a few in relation to the early childhood setting. So we're looking at here the topic of learning the different cultures in the classroom. So we've come up with some activities here. Now, one of the first things that you need to do is sort of collating information and collecting information from the parents. So inviting them to share the cultural values and traditions. So you're basically reaching out and providing an avenue for them to correspond. So perhaps this is through email, perhaps you've got like a notice board notifying them of upcoming activities. And so you want to collate all the information and use all the different cultures within the classroom. And you also want to invite them to be part of the learning where possible. The next step over here is collating material in relation to the cultures that parents have identified and given you feedback to. So you'll be able to collect different flags, look at different videos, so collecting lots of different types of materials and lessons and learning activities that you can expose the students to in the learning environment. So over here you can seek, we've got activities that you can seek parental input. So you can see that this is a planning tool that you can basically plan with your mentors or with your peers or perhaps on your own. It's basically just brainstorming how you get from this section to over here. So at the end, basically they'll experience cultures within the classroom. So all the different types of cultures, traditions, whether it's celebrations, languages, whether you choose to focus even further down and make it just religions or just foods or just celebrations is completely up to you. But this is just our example here. We're going with a whole cultural approach, and this can be your planning. You then can perhaps then pull it over onto here, and then you can actually break it down into smaller sections if you want. We also have some other planning tools that you can use and split it up into different learning activities and different sessions over a number of periods. So let me have a look. That's our daily station. We've also got, here it is here, so our learning plan area. So you can actually split this up even further. In slide 42 and 43, we have it set up for 10 sessions, and the final session is a reflection session. So you can actually use that tool and you might find it really helpful. So here we've got watch some educational videos exploring physical items from different cultures. So perhaps you've got things that parents have provided, or perhaps you actually have educational resources in your facility where you can access flags and musical instruments or artifacts, different things. If you don't, then you do actually have access to these on educational videos and websites. We do encourage you to jump in. You can join our beginning teachers resource. In our Beginning Teachers Lounge. It's a Facebook group, so if you're wanting any support inside of planning, make sure you jump in and join the support group and ask, and work collaborative with some teachers that are along working at the same level you are, and there's also some mentors in there, so you'll be able to get some great support, so I highly recommend that. So over here, I've actually repeated this. We repeated this session. So you can actually even do it again if you want, or you can have here like a culminating activity where perhaps the students have put together, over here we've got, the student creates a display poster or presents information basically that they've put together with their family at home. So they have an opportunity to share their experiences or share their family values inside the classroom. And over here you can have the opportunity where they actually have a presentation role or experience, and you can actually set that up to be over a number of mornings, or depending on what days the students are attending to, you need to take that into consideration. So that is our planning tool. So once again, we start here with what they know, we put over here with what we want to be the end result, and then we're basically brainstorming how we are going to plan for the sequential learning to exist. Or basically we can also make sure that we're looking at all the different standards and areas in relation to early childhood, and making sure we're planning inside and alongside the national framework. So that's really important. So ensuring we have creativity, make sure there's teacher instructed teaching, there's also child-based learning or child-centered learning. So we're making sure that we have indoor-outdoor play, so you can incorporate all the things involving families, respecting cultures. It's really, really easy to see when it's written out. And when you're doing your planning and having your meetings across the different age groups, doing this together, this is a really, really handy tool. So we hope you found that helpful. Like I said, make sure you jump in and join our Beginning Teachers Lounge on Facebook. Just search that and it will come, and feel free to join our group where we continue this conversation. But you can continue on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the course.